Welcome to Reimagine Communication. This is an unfolding dialogue between Liv Larsson and Rung. For 3 decades, they have explored nonviolent communication, not only as a way to navigate conflict, but as a doorway into something larger. What it means to be human, together. Here, communication is not technique. It is presence. It is listening for what longs to be heard. It is daring to stay open in the midst of complexity. These conversations are living questions about truth, about connection, about the courage to meet life as it is and as it could be. You are invited to listen, to pause, and perhaps to discover something new moving in you. Let's begin.
Good morning, Kai. How are you?
That's a good question. Related to the topic that I thought we'll talk about, how to answer that question. I'm fine. How are you?
Well, I guess that's the most authentic answer is, yeah, I'm fine. Maybe
Yeah.
we come to something later on. We'll see.
Yeah. And that is the topic, authenticity. Yeah, this is hard.
Authenticity.
So what does it mean then? It might mean that I'm true to myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like finding my voice and daring to express it, even though it's inconvenient.
Yeah. And in NVC terms, I think we often go to what's alive in me, kind of giving words, expressing what's alive in me and showing up with all of that. That's maybe authenticity.
Yeah. And maybe also like the the daring to not to compromise what I hear, like my truth.
Yeah, and to show up as the one person that is kind of saying the thing that makes the room silent or trembling, like daring to express inconvenient truth. Many times we see that as, oh, this person is so authentic.
Yeah.
And there's a beauty in there, and there's a challenge in there that we hopefully can bring some clarity on.
But so let's get into it then. So do you see any problems or like consequences of that view on that this is what it means to be authentic?
Yeah, I think it's quite of a narrow or a simplified way to hold the authenticity, and it becomes like authenticity is the goal rather than one part of our development, one theme or one quality that helps us actually grow at a certain point where uh, that is the medicine at a certain point. But then when we think we need the same medicine later on or at another place in life, then it's not, then we're kind of lost.
Oh, what do you mean with medicine? Like,
Well,
can you say more?
yeah, so I would say the celebration of authenticity is so clearly that people have felt that they have been silenced, they have been shamed, they have kind of suppressed some parts of themselves. And then suddenly they find, maybe with the help of nonviolent communication or other tools, they find a way to express that voice, that, or they have a place to express themselves. So then it feels like this is the medicine for all the depressions I've gone through, all the deadness, all the niceness. And authenticity becomes like, ah, that's the solution. That's what will make a difference. If everyone can just be authentic, then it will be fine. It's like This the end of it, the solution.
So you're saying that there's like two sides of the coin. That one side is it's like a medicine. It kind of heals, repairs, and restores maybe dignity and self-respect and a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff, kind of. And then there's
Yeah, and
a backside of it uh, as well. If we do
exactly.
it, if that becomes the goal, like to be authentic, that's the goal.
Yeah, and the goal is like this is now myself. End. Period. That's just says now I am showing up. And with that, the strongest voice is like it's just one part of us. Maybe the most silent whisper in back of our heads. Maybe that also needs to be included in what we say is us to be authentic. That kind of thing that comes early in the morning and says, what are you doing with your days? Maybe that is more important than the one that is kind of identified with, this is me. I'm the one that comes across with a strong voice.
So when
So,
you say this is me, is it like when authenticity becomes identity?
yeah, it
That
becomes
is
like,
that like is that the problem? And then we might not prioritize or listen or care for other voices that are might not be so strong in ourselves. Is that did I get it?
yes. And in NVC terms, that is also, then we might become judgmental of others, saying you are not authentic. Like, I know you are hiding something. I know there is something that you are not letting me see. You're not transparent. So we can become really judgmental when we have had a sense of this is what it is to be authentic. That's the bad side of it. But I like to tell something that just happened, or actually you were there as well, Kai, uh, of the beauty of authenticity before we problematize it some more.
Yeah, sure.
And it was a person we talked to, a woman that we have had a lot of connection with early on, like maybe 20 years, maybe more, 25. And she was
Sorry to
at
say, maybe even 30 years.
maybe, yeah. We're getting so old, we're
We
even
need to be
forgetting how
authentically.
many.
We're getting old.
Yeah. So it was a person that uh, worked in the same kind of field with leadership, with trainings, and expressing things around group processes and so on. And as we talked with this person, she said, I had to at one point withdraw because we haven't heard from her because she just ended and went to live elsewhere with her husband, doing something totally different. And she said,
She
I
quit the
was
job.
feeling,
Yeah.
yeah, I was feeling so fake. I was saying all these things, but I had no clue how to do that myself. And it felt like that she was false. Like every day when she went to do a training, she felt like, this is like so much discomfort because I'm not authentic.
Uh-huh.
And for her, in our conversation with her, she was like celebrating that she had now found, like, this is what I want to do. Now it feels like it's more integrated. And that's the beauty of that. It's like trusting oneself. I think you mentioned that in the start, Kai.
Yeah.
The beauty of saying, yeah, now I can lean back into at least one part of me that I know is authentically me. And I don't have to feel kind of that I need to be perfect, but at least I have that. So there is a
Yeah.
beauty in authenticity when it brings us kind of that relief or that joy.
So would you say that being authentic, um, I'm expressing or showing myself in a certain way, not to be liked, because then that wouldn't be authentic in the sense, but it would be to like honor that voice in me. And if I kind of yeah, the story that you told about her, that I don't feel that I'm like aligned or integrated or you say genuine. So
Mm.
then I don't say it because so there's like that kind of gap, and that was the celebration, and it took some years to kind of fill the gap. Was that the heart of
Yeah.
the story, kind of?
Yeah. And the beauty in what when we talked about medicine before, when authenticity is the medicine, for this person, it was the medicine. Like really finding a way to give herself space to integrate what she knew in theory.
Ah,
Uh,
so in this story, the medicine is like, oh, she quit the job because it wasn't genuine,
yeah.
and then she kind of caught up, or it took some time to kind of catch up, and then it became genuine, and now something new might happen.
Yes, and it was very clear in our conversation that maybe there was like a next step, something to grow into,
Yeah.
um, that I enjoyed a lot to see.
So it's like the butterfly. You're having these phases where you kind of before getting a butterfly and learning how to fly.
Yeah, yeah. So we're not here to to talk badly about authenticity, but we also want to name the pitfalls or the things where it's no longer the medicine, and we keep taking it as if taking more medicine will make us even feel even better, but usually
Yeah.
it doesn't.
So you said that when it becomes identity rather than medicine, like medicine you take to kind of heal, to support yourself, but then when it becomes identity, then I'm getting it get more rigid. Uh, it,
Yeah,
it, and that would be one of the pitfalls. And rigid means also moralizing, like you said, like we
yeah,
might be judgmental, like this is the right way to be or to show up.
yeah, exactly.
And what about NVC culture or in NVC context? What is there more to kind of that you have noticed about this transparency or authenticity?
Authenticity.
Yeah, it's really
It
hard.
is hard word for Swedes, but I
I have
think
a
we
Finnish brain that been brought up in Swedish in Sweden, and then
authenticity.
yeah, that would be easier actually. Uh, but now I'm
Y-
trying to do the English one. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I would say that in some, not all NVC groups or culture, there will be some kind of norm or some kind of rules, hidden rules. Well, that's norms, I guess, that emerges. And one would be it's always better to express what's alive in me than not to. It's like that is always the best choice. And I can hear that sometimes come across, but everyone is waiting for dinner in a training. It's like everyone is already halfway out the door, but someone has this sense that, oh, but I'm still alive, all cooking with this. I need to say this. And it becomes so important. It's almost like life-threatening because it's become identity. Instead of the person saying, oh, this is very important for me. Can two people stay with me so I can talk about this? But it becomes kind of sometimes really demanding of that everyone should hear this because it's so alive in me. So we exaggerate the size of it kind of. Yeah, and on the other side of that, we might think that not being transparent is inauthentic, like holding something back, regulating how much I say in moment to moment, then I'm not authentic. So it becomes like an inner demand. I should say this because otherwise I'm not authentic. And then we know we've created another, well, another demand. another should. Uh, so it's no longer the medicine. It's like I have to live up to this rather than I choose to say this and I choose not to say that. Because
Yeah.
if I hold something back, I'm not true to myself and I'm not true to the NVC community and so on. And I might be blamed later on.
But we might have good reasons not to express everything to everyone, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
And we might even see that in a certain setting, there's no time for it. So it's not like it's going to be heard anyway.
yeah. Yeah, it might be a waste just
Yeah.
to express. Yeah, I get some sweet memories of when I'm guessing myself was this was one of the l learnings that I wanted um, to investigate more. And I remember printing T-shirts with the some words on it, and I think it said something like, "What you most fear to tell me, I want to hear," or something like that. In writing.
I want to hear what you most want to tell me.
Yeah, what you most fear to tell me, kind of.
Most fear to tell me. That's what it was.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it was like super big invitation, like don't focus on the care and other things. Just express. And that was pretty fun. But not everyone approached me when I wear that T-shirt. I remember as well. So does
Well,
it?
so
It's not medicine for everyone, right?
yes, and I like the memory of that. It's so self-centered, I realize at this point right now. It's like I was not say wearing that t-shirt because I also had one because I wanted them to have their expression. I wanted to have the experience of someone daring to say something, but I was very self-centered. It was like an invitation, but actually it was like, I want something from you. And I
Yeah.
wasn't clear about that at all. If I would have been clear, that would have been different. And that's the other thing with transparency and authenticity. It can become very self-centered.
What do you mean? Like, say more.
I would
Isn't
say
it
that,
just like transparency? It sounds like there's no egocentric, like it's not self-centered. It's just what is. So I think you need to say more.
yeah, it's one of the things I think is, if we look closer at that, is that when we think authenticity is the strongest voice, we might start thinking, well, so that voice is everything I am. But as I said in the start, maybe I am that, and also the little whispering voice that says, but that's not all, or that might whisper, maybe there's more to life, and maybe there's not just one part of me. Maybe I have contradictive parts in me. And with the I center, the first person language that NVC has as an expression on the expression part, it it kind of makes it sound like there is an I that I can catch in one meaning, and then I catch all of me. But I believe we're more than that.
Huh. So we are kind of blind to ourselves because we focus on one thing, the loudest thing at a given moment.
Yeah.
So we simplify or neglect other parts of us.
Yeah.
Unconsciously, I'm guessing. Like I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
remember neglecting, but I can see that I made choices that were neglecting other parts of myself. But that was easier to see later on rather than at that moment. Yeah.
Well, as you know, I'm a big fan of working with shame. I mean, I do a lot of trainings and support with shame, and I have one story about that that was so beautiful.
About
And but
shame or about
about
authenticity or both?
authenticity and the strongest voice.
Uh,
I'm kind of hesitating because I want it to be short and succinct because it's like a longer
huh?
story. But let me try to say it. It was
Well, I'll try to be quiet.
well, you can ask if I'm unclear. It's someone that took part in one of my 4-day shame workshops. And she was there with a friend that wanted her to come. Like this is almost like a support person, because this friend was very much had a lot of shame in her life, and this person she had not. This the person I want to talk about. She had a sense after every exercise. She says, "That's beautiful. I see people grow, but I don't really have shame." And it was quite clear that she was doing what we call, when we use the compass of needs, we use a term called rebellion. Like she was invading vulnerability. She was, as soon as there was a sign of it, she just pushed it away with some kind of action or thinking. And then the last day of the training, this person came in early. I was preparing something and I saw there was something, like she was like seeing me, and then she came towards me. And she started telling this story of the night before, where she was on a date with a man she had seen, uh, I don't know, a few times, and that she quite fancied. And the evening before, this guy had said, I don't think we should see each other anymore. I think I don't get the sense that you show yourself. I think I'm open about stuff in my life, and I never see you share anything that, I don't feel I get to know you. And as she told me, she was on her way to say, you know, but that's all right. Everyone is free to do what they like. And as she was in the middle of the training, she realized that she was about to rebel. She was about to say, you're free to do what you like. I'm going to do what I like. And thank you for this beautiful meeting, and walked away.
Is
So,
that the rebellion, that choice?
yes, the rebellion would be to say,
Rebellion against what?
well, rebellion against shame. And in the sense of rebelling against that we are vulnerable creatures, that we have needs, that we have longings to be close,
Oh,
that
so
we,
she was wanting something else than to say, I'm fine.
yeah, because when she kind
So
of
continue with
paused,
the story.
yes, when she paused, she actually said, no, wait a bit. I'm probably feeling shame. She didn't feel it yet. And but then she opened her mouth and said, "But I want you to give me another chance, one more chance. I realize I have not been open. I'm habitually kind of just being cool, calm, and collected, and I'm not kind of used to being that open as I hear you invite me to be." And then she told me how that little moment of where she felt, for her it was like a huge step to say that. She felt so awkward, like her body started to itch, and she felt like she wanted that black hole to open up under her, which is a signal of shame. And she stayed, and he stayed, and they spent the night together, and she was like so much enjoying that she could handle that moment differently than just walking away. And to me, that is connecting to what we talked about. She was so used to expressing the strongest voice, and for her the strongest voice was the rebellion, was the one that says, sure, that's fine, everyone is free to do whatever they like. That was her strongest voice. And it
Hmm.
felt very authentic. And of course, it was part of her. But there was another part of her that says, but what about me? I want this man to be close. I want this person to be in my life. And he's about to walk away because you never listen to me, that is kind of scared and they find this really hard. So that was also being authentic when that voice, who was very much not strongest voice. And she let that be there, and that started that relationship or deepened that relationship big time.
Beautiful story. And it sounds like when we get stuck in identified with the strongest voice, and we're not hearing, or we're not prioritizing or choosing to act on the more subtle, like not so loud voice, or some other voice that we are not identified with. So it sounds like we often talk about that we become less stable, like uh, uh,
Yeah.
so it's like a little bit shaky ground, but that's also an
I,
opportunity, kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also usually, when you say in this more silent voice, but it might also be that I'm kind of almost like I put all my votes on one part of myself, and I'm not willing to see that maybe there is more to being alive than only having one part. I probably have more parts. And in that way, I am destabilizing my self centering. It's like now maybe I need to give up that part of me that has gotten so much devotion and love, and people really like that I am like that. I'm a certain way. And to actually incorporate that there is more of me can sometimes feel like a big loss, even if it's actually uh, my
A
container
win.
is bigger. Yeah, it's a win.
Looks like a loss, but it's a win.
Yeah.
So people who might, take part of our Reimagine communication program, or people who are just listening to this episode in this podcast, what if they're sitting like with the thought like, what do you mean, Liv? I have this voice that I like, and there's like one strong voice. I don't hear anything else.
Mm.
So what do you tell to them? Like, are they at fault? Should they go to the ear doctor, or like, what would you say to them if they would have that question? Kind of, what's wrong
Well,
with having
for
one voice? Mhm.
yeah, and no, it's a real beauty to be in that and to maybe pause and swim in that, letting that be part of your medicine. And we're not here to say that you need to do something more. If that is what you have and what you're experiencing, that is, just enjoy it. I think that is great. The challenge, can you be true to that without being rigid? Can you be kind of clear about that without being absolutely right? This is me. This is how it is. And everyone should find that voice. Can I be kind of clear? This is me rather than making it the demand. Can we be human without kind of saying, I am human, I'm going to be, if anything is threatening this, I'm not going to allow it in?
But I meet a lot of people who feel pretty sure about themselves. Like,
Hmm.
well, this is me. I
Yeah.
can't do much about it. But you're saying like, if that is your experience, enjoy it, because it might change. And if it
Yeah.
changes, then it's a different day, a different problem. And
A
uh,
different medicine. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's not a problem in itself. Uh, and there might be pitfalls that you want to make sure you don't fall into, like starting to see other people as dishonest or manipulative, or because they are not choosing to do it your way.
Uh-huh. So if I'm experiencing a problem that listening to this one voice that I'm kind of neglecting other parts of me, then this episode, this conversation might be helpful, because then I might be helped in looking for the uh, a way of listening to other voices than the strongest voice.
Mhm. Yeah.
And if I only hear one voice and that is fine, then enjoy it.
Yes, and remember that I am at least, and I think you are too, Kai. We're not here to throw that strong voice out. That can be really good to fall back on, to even if I start listening to more voices, because it's so stable, it's so clearly self-centered. It will help me put boundaries up. It will make me feel safe. So we're just wanted to integrate more of what's possible with being human. What's
That's a good
more? What
reminder.
more can it be? Yes.
It's
So
so
it's
easy to go either or. It's like, oh, now the strong voice is bad. Get out, get it out.
yeah.
Rather than just, ah, I
Well,
have another voice. It's like I have a new friend that I want to kind of include.
yeah.
All right. Um,
And I would say that when it becomes a demand, it becomes moralized inside or outside that I have to say something, otherwise I'm not authentic. I have to express this, otherwise I'm not authentic. Then that's the time to start wondering what is going on.
but what do you mean? I just had that experience, couple of days ago that I had this sense that I have to say this, otherwise I'm kind of giving up on myself and it's going to be very costly. So now you're saying that I should be questioning that, or because I thought it went all well that when I chose to express from that kind of place.
What did you say? Was it to me?
No, no, no. It was another friend. I just
Okay.
haven't, I held back on some stuff,
Yeah.
and I chose to not hold back and kind of say it. But yeah, the difference was from earlier uh, situations like that. I wasn't only expressing the strongest voice. I was kind of saying, well, I want to say this and I do it for that reason. And I also have these. So, yeah. So the
Hmm.
nuance, that was kind of cool. Yeah.
And what I remember from you talking about this conversation was also that you were kind of you saw you were aware of what the other person was kind of going through. That
Yeah.
some part of this was maybe scary for this person or unusual and so on. So that I would guess it's a sign that it wasn't like an inner demand, but it was like I don't want to pay the cost for not speaking up. I don't want to pay. I don't want to be with the things that will happen in this relationship if I don't speak up.
Yeah. So can we talk more about that? Like if it's all about me, like I need to be authentic. I need to say this because I'm only focusing on me. Uh, and the consequences of that. I'm just to play with the idea. If we're a group of people, like at work or at a workshop or in a family, what if everyone would play the authentic game, so to say? If everyone would just, prioritize that one strong voice, what would happen? Would that be a
Well,
good thing if everyone is authentic all the time?
in a party, it might be really beautiful. In
With
a
alcohol, you
moment.
mean?
Well,
Swedish party.
and no, a kind of a celebration, it would be great, and for certain moments, it might be really beautiful. But imagine if we are a company, and that is the thing, and
Messy,
we
huh?
need, yes, we need to stay attentive, not authentic, attentive to what's going on in the business we're in. Maybe we are not so just right all the time. Maybe we need to shift something and change something, and we need to listen in for the needs of the customers and so on. So I would guess that we will lose some of that ability to kind of stay alert if we go if it's only about being like one voice, one authenticity.
So, but I'm imagining that scenario like in a family, uh, that it would kind of break down, that we would not care for each other because we would care for our strongest voice in our mind, and then we would be pretty self-centered. Would that be like it would crack the relationship?
Possible, but I'm also saying that at a certain, what I mean with a party is like when it's just superficial but celebration, and we might, is if we don't have fun with one person, we might just dance over to someone else and we would play a game and so on. Then it might be a really clear kind of,
Like an exploration, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And in certain moments, in certain other where, well, we need something else. We need to kind of regulate ourselves. We need to cool down or shape up or whatever. And we're not able to do that anymore because we only have one voice. And then becomes a pitfall.
So we might lose choicefulness if we're it's kind of an oxymoron. It feels like authenticity is like freedom, and yeah, but
Hmm.
losing choice is not freedom. So it's kind of interesting. Just imagining this terrain, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is a beautiful pointer. It's like saying everything isn't necessarily being more true. It's just different than saying a few things. But when there is like an inner demand, I have to say everything, otherwise I'm not authentic.
Yeah, yeah, and back to where we began. Like, if the purpose is to be authentic, that is very different from now I'm gonna have a conversation that I would like to impact our relationship or our cooperation, or so the purpose, if the purpose is authenticity, it's very different from if the purpose is to kind of repair a mistake or make something better, or because then if I want to make something better, of course I want to listen as well to how the recipient is doing of my words. Yeah,
Mhm.
cool.
I do believe it's also kind of when we talk about it in NVC settings, uh, where we talk a lot about communicating without demands, without judgments. We want to communicate in some other way than with demands and judgments. And when authenticity is linked to who we are, like identity, who am I? Uh, the biggest pitfalls is that our language will then be maybe not coming out straight with demands and judgments because we've learned that in NVC groups, but we start expecting someone else to talk in a certain way, and the demands and the judgments will come through in where it would be more serving to say, I don't know how to express myself other than in demanding this from you. Can you have a guess of what might be going on for me? When I can open up for seeing that inner demand or judgments and be authentic about that, not saying, well, just tell me what's going on in you.
Mm. So to kind of conclude, make some conclusions of this conversation, I would see it as uh, authenticity might have three chapters in our life.
Mm-hmm.
One when we kind of lack it, so that would be our medicine to kind of become more whole, more genuine, and then it turns into identity, and it creates some problems for us. And
Yeah.
then the third chapter is that it becomes, I can't really see how I could word it. It become more fluid, more not so rigid. It's like a
Can I?
choice.
Yeah.
Huh?
Can I make can I make a try?
Yeah, yeah.
So I
Le-
like what you said.
Leaves the authenticity in 3 chapters.
Well, first it is clearly the medicine, like you said, expressing a strong voice, expressing myself, coming out of being silenced, that kind of authenticity. This is me. And then later on, realizing that this voice is only a part, that would be chapter 2, like realizing, oh, that's one part of me that I think is authentic. And what about the other parts? Kind of being curious about that and starting to be curious about that. And then the third part, the third chapter would be able to choose how and when and with whom, what part can I express or do I want to express? So I'm not stuck with just one choice, but I can differentiate between how I communicate with one person or in a one setting in order to serve needs even more. That's what my 3 chapters.
Hmm. And in every book, there's like some kind of conclusion in the end or some summary,
Yeah.
or so I'll try to do that. So then, authenticity, we could see it as a vehicle that kind of finds new parts of us and integrates them, so we become more whole. So there's this authenticity train that goes back and forth, picking up new parts of us, new voices, so we will become more like colorful or more whole. Or would you do you like that kind of picture?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
We could probably say much more, but this is hopefully people think about this. And if you want to explore it more, you are more than welcome to our Reimagine Communication program, where we go deeply into this, not only talk about it, but actually explore it, do exercises around it. And this is one of our the podcast is like one of our gifts to set a seed for you to think about it. But of course, we like to play more with you, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So this is how we practice talking about the things that we're exploring and doing. Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you want to learn more, in the episode notes, you can find some info, some links um, to that program and other stuff that we do, and also the books about shame and vulnerability, because that is also like, I would say, that could be seen as the starting point for the authenticity train. They kind of meet each other, so
Yeah.
things are kind of connected in a beautiful way.
I think I learned that today, actually, realizing how much when I work with shame, how much people just fall in love with that work. And I often wonder, why do they fall in love with that? And I think it is this, they see that, oh, there's some medicine there. And they also see that that medicine needs to be nuanced. We need more than that. It's like, um, and there's some beauty in this that I so much enjoy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks
Cool.
and for another cool conversation.
Thank
I had
you.
a great time. Yeah, see you in the kitchen then. Yeah.
Yes. See you later.
Thank you for joining us in this conversation with Liv Larsson and Kay Rung. If you want to explore more of their work, upcoming trainings, or dive deeper into nonviolent communication, you'll find resources at www.frirelive.com. In the show notes, you'll also find links to books mentioned in this episode. as well as more information about our international mediation program and the Reimagine Communication program, designed for those who want to deepen their practice in mediation and bring nonviolent communication more fully into everyday life. Thanks for listening. And until next time, stay curious, stay connected.